One of the main items in the June 15th meeting from the County Board of Commissioners was adopting the 2026-2027 budget. That budget continues to spend down the reserves, and finding fiscal sustainability remains a critical thing to do in the next 12 months. When asked for comments about the budget, two commissioners weighed in with what their concerns were.
Just a comment. I think the budget committee did work very hard. Staff worked really hard. I want to thank you for that. I just personally am not thrilled with the results that we have, but it's not because of a lack of hard work. It's a math problem. It's a financial challenge that we need to work through.
I think it's important that we state this is possibly a greater public listening than it usually would, why it is that you're concerned. And do you want to explain, or should
I'm concerned about the trajectory. We are providing more services than revenues. It's going to greatly affect if we don't find either efficiencies or revenue streams. The services we provided, that we currently provide, and the people that we employ. So I am certainly concerned about our trajectory.
And so we as a group have agreed that we have 1 year to address the unsustainability of our current budget, and our able staff has been working hard on making a series of proposals. We're going to be hearing more in July.
Yes.
About what possibilities we have, but whatever happens, we can't continue to spend at this rate. And we've defined the 1 year trajectory that we can afford to spend at this rate for 1 more year. At the end of this year, we will still have acceptable reserves, but we discussed as a group that we're not willing to go below those reserves. So we have to get the spending in line with the revenues by the end of the fiscal year that we're talking about today.
We also heard an update about what the county is doing to help local pear growers.
In regards to the emergency declaration with regard to the pear growers, we have been working diligently and having many conversations with Oregon Department of Agriculture, with the Farm Services Agency, with MCED, with the governor's office through Nate Stice. I think it will require a federal action. And so we actually are working through the process through the governor's office. It appears that it will require a form of a declaration from us. We're waiting for the wording from FSA. The 2025 crop in regards to its qualification for the programs that are in place and the emergency declarations that we would issue just fell outside of those regulated timeframes. And so it is just a matter of getting the right mechanism there. So that is forthcoming.
So I'm sorry, are we hopeful of some relief?
So I think we are. I think it would come perhaps in the form of a deviation within the specialty crop program. It's going to be
unclear, but you're hopeful.
We are hopeful.
I do want to make a comment in regards to the work that you've done with Columbia Gorge fruit growers and others, and trying to find a way to help our growers. I've been in this industry for most of my life, 35 years, and it's the ugliest I've ever seen. And
so since you were 5?
Yes, thank you. Since I was 5. This is the most challenging year that we've ever seen. We're seeing a downturn in our ability to continue to farm. Economics aren't lining up, and this was truly a disaster. Now, whether it fits in the disaster box is a question, but the fact that it is truly an economic disaster is true, and it's real, and we all feel it. So thank you.
In a bright spot during that meeting, commissioners and forestry manager Doug Thesis discussed what could be done with the revenue that will start to come in from the forest carbon project.
As a staff, we would be looking to create a resolution, draft a resolution as to how we're going to use those funds.
wasn't we really specific in stating that the reason why we're doing this is we're looking for, this is a long-term sustainability play for us. We're looking to do things that will, in the long term, improve the county's ability to provide services at the lowest possible tax rate. Is there anything else?
I mean, I have that same sentiment, but I think it would be worthy. I would certainly like to understand what those other alternatives could possibly be, or how much they may cost. And then secondarily, how much revenue, I mean, we see a 10-year projection up to what, 25 to 28 million, what, I can't remember.
The original projection was, over 23 million. We've later, with the amendment and some of the new methodology and some of the changes in the carbon program, it's lowered. It was a little over 17 million.
Regardless,
Exactly.
over time, over 10 years, let's say it's 17 million. My question would be, would that substantially, if land were available, would that substantially change and impact our revenue stream over time?
I think so.
5%, 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any way to quantify that? I mean, I know it's all hypothetical, but
Yeah, we're at that point, we're talking about thousands of acres. It certainly currently we have 34,597 acres. Getting to 40,000 acres is within eyesight. If we're talking about that kind of money revenue coming in, potentially more, we're looking at other things that could partner with these funds as well to make them go further and acquire even more land. So you start saying, well, if you could kind of double that money, so to speak, with grants,
gotcha.
that kind of thing, you might be pushing 45 or 50,000 acres. So I think a very realistic goal is trying to get to 40,000 acres, and you start to add 15 or 20% to your acreage. That does affect the bottom line eventually.
Finally, another item that the county commissioners heard about and discussed was the City of Hood River's Moderate Income Revolving Loan Program, which they're basing off a program established by the state of Oregon in 2024. This is supposed to help people with moderate incomes find ways to afford housing. However, there are a lot of concerns, not only in Hood River County, but in counties across the state, over how these programs actually get managed. Commissioner Arthur Babbitts questioned Brian Beebe, Director of County Records Assessments and Election, for some information about some of those potential problems.
It's not quite right yet.
It's not quite right yet, yeah. And the Department of Revenue is being asked to provide guidance to the assessors on how exactly we're supposed to administer this program. A few highlights, little things like, taxpayers they get a 3% discount when they pay their taxes on time, and how does that apply to this? And the way that taxes would be implemented. I'm not the tax collector, but as I understand it, everything goes into the unsegregated tax account, and taxes get paid out of that. So we determine a percentage distribution schedule for each taxing district, and this seems to fall outside of that. So our system's not even currently really designed to deal with this. There are several other, does Measure 5 apply? And our software, there's several software systems around the state. None of them are currently set up to handle this. So it's going to require programming for us to be able to administer this. So there's just a lot of unknowns at this point in time that need to be resolved before we could even administer this program.
So we would be doing this at the very beginning before anybody besides Tillamook has started it. But
Tillamook, the issues that have been identified are there are several communities around Oregon that are currently wrestling with some of these exact same questions. Different counties and cities have different structures of who's going to administer what and that kind of thing. And so there's just everybody's coming together going, well, how are we going to deal with this? And how are we going to deal with that? And things that just didn't get resolved in the legislation.
I've uploaded the entire Hood River County Board of Commissioners meeting from June 15th into the Inform Hood River channel. It's easier to find there than on the county's website. So if you want more details, feel free to take a look at the channel. Thanks.